What's for dinner? Hey everyone, I'm Chef Z and welcome back to my channel, Chef Z Cooks. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make stuffed turkey breast with a classic stuffing and a delicious guava cranberry sauce. Now, I love this recipe and honestly, I make this recipe all the time whenever I'm not in the mood to roast a whole entire turkey. Let's face it, it takes a long time and honestly, I'm only making turkey for my fiance and between two people, getting through a whole entire turkey is a ton of work. So this is a great recipe to make if you're not feeding a ton of people. Now, one of the fun parts about this recipe is that it is actually a Thanksgiving dinner all in one. Now, stay tuned until the very end of the video because I will be sharing some tips and tricks to help you get this recipe perfect each and every single time. Let's go ahead and get started. Making stuffed turkey is actually pretty fun, and the reason I say it's an all-in-one turkey dinner is because we're going to be making all of the classic components to a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So we're making some homemade stuffing and some homemade guava cranberry sauce. So first things first, we want to take our turkey breast and we want to butterfly it. And this is pretty easy to do. All you do is slice it down the middle, leave it intact so that it forms a heart. Now you can also ask your local butcher to do this and he or she will typically do it at no extra cost. We're now going to take some saran wrap and we're going to place it over our butterflied turkey breast. And with a meat mallet or tenderizer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pound it out just to make it even. Now, when using a meat tenderizer for this particular dish, you want to make sure to use the smooth side and only pound out the areas that are pretty thick. And you want to keep doing this until your meat is anywhere between a ½ inch to a ½ inch thick. And you want to feel for any areas that still may be a little thick and pound away. Now, honestly, this is a ton of fun and one of my favorite things to do with this recipe. And once that's done, we want to take off the saran wrap and we want to transfer the turkey breast onto a sheet pan or wherever it is you're going to season it. And we're going to begin seasoning our turkey breast. So you want to take some kosher salt and add it to the outside of the turkey, followed by some fresh black pepper. Now, you want to be very generous when seasoning your turkey because remember, this is actually a thick cut of meat and essentially the only seasoning for this whole entire dish. So after we've added the black pepper, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some oregano. And it's up to you whether you want to use some ground oregano or some oregano leaves. I opted for some oregano leaves because I love how an herb crusted turkey breast or even chicken breast looks, especially when you're roasting it. And of course, it wouldn't be a Chef Z recipe without some fresh garlic as well. We're also going to be adding some sour oranges, but if you don't have any sour orange, some regular limes will also work. And at the very end, we're going to be adding a little bit of olive oil. Now, I like to season the outside of the turkey first, and afterwards I just flip it over and I do the same thing over. Now, the reason I like to season the outside of the turkey first is because once I've seasoned the whole entire turkey breast, I'm actually going to marinate it overnight, but honestly, you can get away with marinating it for about 30 minutes, and my turkey is all ready for me to stuff it once the time comes. So just like before, we're going to add some olive oil, and we're going to let it marinate anywhere between 20 minutes to overnight, and we're going to set that to the side. We're now going to start making the stuffing, so you want to set the flame to medium, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to move that around and just wait until the butter is nice and melted. And once the butter is melted, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some onions, some celery, some carrots, some garlic, along with a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're going to saute that until the onions have actually become a little bit translucent, which is going to take anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. And honestly, I seriously love how all of this smells. It truly smells like the holidays. And now we're going to be adding some low sodium and hormone-free chicken stock, along with some fresh sage that I've went ahead and chopped up. And we're going to give that a quick stir, and once that starts to simmer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our cubed stuffing. Now you can make the bread yourself in the sense of you can cut it up and dry it out, or you can buy the store-bought kind. That's totally fine. I went ahead and I added some dried cranberries, which may also be labeled as Craisins in your local grocery store. We're going to give that a stir while the flame is now on low, and we just want to make sure that all of the bread is actually coated with some chicken stock. Now mine looked a little dry, so I went ahead and I added another 1/4 of a cup and I gave it another stir. Again, you don't want the bread to be dry, you want it to be nicely coated, so feel free to eyeball this. Now mine still looked a little dry, so I went ahead and added a little bit more. And it's important that you add it little by little versus all at one time, because listen, it's always easier to add than it is to take away. So once my stuffing is done, I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. And now we're actually going to begin stuffing the turkey breast. So we're going to take some stuffing, and it's really important that you place the stuffing that you're going to use in a separate bowl, just in case you have some leftover stuffing, because we definitely don't want to contaminate the stuffing with some raw turkey. So we're going to take some stuffing and we're going to place it on top of the turkey breast, and with the back of a spoon you're just going to lay it and pat it down. You can definitely do this with your hand as well. And once you've laid an even layer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll it up. And you definitely want to make sure that you're taking the long side and put that horizontal and then roll it up. Now, don't be intimidated while doing this. And I definitely encourage you guys to use some gloves while you're doing this as well. Because number one, it's pretty oily with the olive oil and all that garlic. So you don't want your hands to be stinky at the very end. You want to make sure to roll it nice and tight, and then afterwards we're going to take some of the turkey skin, which by the way you definitely do not want to discard, but if your turkey breast did not come with the skin, that's totally fine. This dish will still taste amazing without the skin. So once you've laid the skin over top, we're going to take some kitchen twine, also known as butcher's twine, and we're going to secure our roulade in place. Because by the way, this stuffed turkey is also known as a turkey roulade. And once you've placed the twine around the turkey, we're going to go ahead and make a knot, and we're going to repeat this until the whole entire stuffed turkey is secure. So you want to place one in the center and then some on the ends, and depending on how big your rolled up turkey is, you might need to place 2 more at the very ends, just like I'm doing right here. Now, I will say that it is important for you to have some kitchen twine lying around the house in order to make this dish. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I will link where I got mine down below. It's fairly easy to find, and I usually order mine off of Amazon, and it's usually here within no time. So once you've tied the last of your string, you want to go ahead and take your kitchen shears and you want to cut the excess string. And once you've cut the last of the string, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our turkey roulade and we're going to transfer it over onto a roasting rack. Now, just like my Peruvian chicken recipe, all you want to do is take a cooling rack and place it on a sheet pan, and using a roasting rack will definitely ensure that your stuffed turkey breast roasts evenly and it browns beautifully as well. So we're going to take our room temperature softened butter and we're just going to lather it all over the top of our turkey. Now this is something that you can do with your hands, or it's something that you can also use a butter knife. Whatever you are most comfortable using is what I say you can go ahead and use. And now with some clean hands, you want to go ahead and sprinkle some more kosher salt and fresh black pepper, because we are now seasoning the turkey skin. Now, let's say that your turkey breast did not come with the skin. You still want to go ahead and place some butter over top, but you can skip the salt and pepper. We're now going to preheat our oven to 400 degrees, and once it comes up to temperature, we want to go ahead and place our turkey breast into the oven, and we're going to bake it for about an hour. Now, it's really important that every 20 minutes we go ahead and we baste it with some melted butter. keep in mind that turkey breast can get very dry, so we want to make sure to lock in as much moisture as we want. I would say that in total, I basted my turkey about 3 times when making this dish. Now it's up to you if you want to flavor the butter with more garlic or even some sour orange or honey if you want to give your turkey roulades some extra flavor. And after about 55 minutes, my turkey was completely done, and as you can see, it has browned beautifully. So we're going to let it rest. And while the turkey is resting, I'm going to take some fresh cranberries and add that to a saucepan, along with a 1.5 cups of sugar, some guava jelly, but you can definitely use some guava paste. I just prefer to use guava jelly because it dissolves a little bit quicker when making this dish, some unsweetened cranberry juice, and some pomegranate juice. Now I added about 1/2 cup of cranberry juice and 1 full cup of pomegranate juice because I loved all of the flavors. But if you want to make this a true cranberry sauce and you want that cranberry flavor to come to life even more, then feel free to just add more cranberry juice. Now, as you can see, all of this is melting beautifully, and it's actually going to thicken the longer it cooks, and it's especially going to thicken as it cools. So I suggest that once that cranberry sauce has reached the desired thickness, go ahead and take it off the flame. So once the turkey has rested, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slice into it. And when you're serving this, I suggest cutting this into some thick slices just so that it holds on to the stuffing as well. Now, as you can see, that stuffing is beautifully nestled within the turkey breast, and that crispy turkey skin definitely takes this dish to new levels. Now with serving this dish, be sure to be super generous with that cranberry sauce because it is to die for. So there you guys have it, my recipe for some stuffed turkey breast. If you have any questions, comment down below or visit my website. And until next week, I'm Chef Z y buen provecho. Alright guys, here are some quick tips to making sure that you get this recipe right each and every single time. So for my first tip, feel free to ask your local butcher to butterfly the turkey breast for you. This is a fairly simple process, and it's something that if you don't feel like doing it on your own, you can go ahead and ask your butcher, and he or she will do it typically at no extra cost. All you have to do is select the turkey breast that you want, and it may be labeled a couple of different ways, either as your usual turkey breast, or it actually may be labeled as turkey breast for London broil. Honestly, all you need is the breast. So you go ahead, you hand that over to your butcher, you tell them, hey, can you please butterfly this for me? And they'll do it, and it's honestly pretty easy peasy. Now, there are some turkey breasts that come with the bone in, and if you don't feel like deboning a whole turkey breast, that is also something that your local butcher can help you with as well. For my second tip, go ahead and make extra stuffing and serve it as a side dish. If you're gonna go ahead and make the extra stuffing, then I suggest you butter a casserole dish. You then place the stuffing in the dish, and then you bake it anywhere at 350 degrees or 375, and you want to bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes until that very top layer of the stuffing is nice and crispy. Nothing is better than a little bit of crispy stuffing, and it's honestly one of my all-time favorite things. Now, for my third tip, when it comes to the guava cranberry sauce, feel free to make it ahead of time. However, if you make it ahead of time, don't let it thicken up so much. Remember, the cranberry sauce is going to thicken on its own. Number one, it has a lot of sugar. And number two, the cranberries actually have natural properties that allows it to thicken on its own. So if you want to make the cranberry sauce ahead of time, just make it a little bit thinner than you normally would. And as it sits and comes to room temperature, it's actually going to thicken on its own. Now, let's say you made the cranberry sauce about 2 days ago and you want to serve it for dinner. Simply take it out of the refrigerator about an hour before you're going to serve it, and it's up to you whether you want to serve the cranberry sauce at room temperature or if you want to warm it up. If you find that your cranberry sauce is way too thick, then go ahead and add a touch more of cranberry sauce or pomegranate juice. It's honestly up to you which flavor you want to beef up more. So there you guys have it, some quick tips to help you get this recipe right each and every single time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that bell so that you're notified each and every single time I post an all new video. But more importantly, please have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And if you need some ideas as to what to make next, go ahead and click right here.